Good evening. My first video on this channel. I might be completely wrong, but it's something that's come to light to me over the last week or so, and it's becoming more and more clear every day. So we all know that there's been a disconnection with youngsters in the church. So myself, probably most of the vicars and most of the clergy, and quite a bit of the congregation have probably prayed for the younger generation to be brought to the church. So I've not really thought about it either. So I'm just as bad, I'm a sinner as well, so I'm just as bad. But I've realised what I think's going on, and yeah, it's up for everyone to make their own decision, I suppose. But of course, we've all been praying for the youngsters to come into church. The Lord's not going to make it that easy for us. Let's be truthful. He's going to want us to do something to show that these children or these young minds are we're worthy of them within our churches or within our buildings. And I don't believe for 1 minute it was going to make it easy for us to get people back in the buildings. So over the last few months we've done some bits in the graveyard and bat houses and that. Anyway, on our local social media page for the community where I live, someone put quite a sad post up, really, that being terrorised by children, and children are hanging around in the graveyard, and they broke all the bat houses and all this sort of stuff. Something would have said to me a long time ago, anger. But now I just feel sorry for the children or the youngsters, because there is nothing for them. But this is where it comes to it. They're not doing anything to help themselves. So we pray all the time for the youngsters to come. The youngsters have now, recently in my area, and I've seen it in other areas, children have started hanging around in the graveyards. And so over the last week or so, I've been having this. It started off with little comments in my ear, and it wasn't audible sound. It's more like a thought, but it was spoken, like a spoken thought. It's really hard for me to explain this. I've had two different ones, and the first one said to me, "How much closer do you need me to bring them?" I didn't fully understand it, but I've heard it a couple of times. And then I see that post, and I think my brain acknowledged at that point that the children have been brought to the churchyard for us to try and draw them into the buildings of the church. But we've got to break down boundaries first before that can ever happen. But I just begin to think that, has the Lord used his power of our prayer to bring them children to our churchyards? Yes, they're in there causing havoc at the moment. But shouldn't we, as children of God, be there trying to guide them now? Maybe because of my route, I want to go into the ministry. I feel that I need to just go and sit there, introduce myself, and just talk to them. you know, they might hear 2 or 3 minutes of the Bible. Something might click. Something might not. But what have we got to lose? We've lost our children otherwise. So what have we got to lose now? And then I suppose the worst of it is if they don't accept me or carry on in their ways of the world, then I have quite a big speaker so I can sit there and put the Bible on. Play the Bible. And then they're going to either sit there and listen to me, or sit there and listen to the Bible, or they're going to get up and go. But if we don't try and connect, we're losing out, and we're doing just a massive disjustice to the youngsters. So my approach is, I'm seeing this happen in my area that I live in, because I'm trying to go into the ministry. I've obviously approached our vicar, so I'll wait to see where that goes from. But the problem is, now that I've acknowledged the Lord, and this is where it gets really tricky for me, now I've acknowledged the Lord and said, I understand what you're telling me. I'm hearing how much closer do you need them. Now I hear this lots in the day, in here. And I keep saying, Lord, I'm trying. But the truth is, I'm not really, am I? Because why am I allowing anyone to justify when I can and can't go? So it's a tricky one for me, because I want to do everything right, because I want to go into the ministry. But then something's telling me that I can't not go and do this. I can't just go and, they're getting a really bad rap. They were hanging around in other areas. There's been other trouble with my area. About 6 months ago, they stopped hanging around in all these areas, and they're hanging around in our graveyard. And as I said, I'm seeing it all over the country now, and I'm talking to other people who are saying the same thing. So the Lord has brought these youngsters to us, to us. Now we need to treasure and grow these youngsters and bring them into the buildings or into outside worship, but into the church, of the body of the church. Me, you, the people of the church. The church, not the building. Or the building, it doesn't matter. But we need to get them there to worship with the Lord and us. So I think people need to actually think about this. How many children do you have hanging around in your churchyards? And is there an opportunity for you to reach out? Thank you for listening. God bless.